So if you're anything like me and you love Korean barbecue, you already know the bulgogi is probably one of the highlights of the Korean barbecue experience. So I'm going to show you guys how I make it. I found this recipe online a few years ago, and I've been making it this way ever since, and it is everything. So you want to start off by getting yourself a medium sweet onion, and you want to slice that pretty thinly. I'm going to do the exact same thing to my green onions. I'm using maybe about 4 or 5 stalks altogether, and you can save a little bit for garnish on the side. Now, to make sure that we get the meat nice and tender, I'm going to be using an Asian pear, and I'm only going to use, honestly, maybe about a 2 to 3 inch thick slice. Like, you really don't need a lot. This is truly just to help tenderize the meat. And to be honest, if you're starting off with a really nice cut of meat to begin with, you really won't need a lot. It will give a little fruity undertone, but not much. I'm mincing 6 cloves of garlic, and then I'm going to start to add in my liquids. So I have 6 tablespoons of low sodium soy sauce. I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of water. I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of mirin. I'm also going to add in 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. And I'm going to tell you something right now, y'all. Also, I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of honey. The sesame oil is going to seem very pungent, and you are going to be afraid and thinking that it's terrible and you've ruined it, but I promise you, you haven't. Just keep following me, okay? I'm going to be using some beef short ribs, and the marbling in those beef short ribs are going to pretty much ensure that these cuts of beef are going to essentially just kind of just melt in my mouth. Like, the marbling in this cut of meat was just gorgeous. So now I'm just kind of breaking it all apart. And you also want to make sure that you really dab each piece of meat before you add it to the marinade to remove as much excess blood as possible, because ain't nobody got time for that. And you want your bulgogi to taste nice and clean. So once you get all of your cuts of meat in there, you can go on ahead and just give it a really good mixing around. You're going to put the lid on it and allow it to marinate in the fridge for minimum 30 minutes, max 2 hours. Now, just so you guys know, some people use kiwi as well, like if they can't find an Asian pear, which is totally fine. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Be careful if you use kiwi, because the enzymes in kiwi are far stronger than the Asian pear, and it could change the texture of your beef. So keep that in mind. As you start to cook your beef, the water's going to start to evaporate. Once it starts to evaporate, add in the remaining vegetables without the juice, and then allow it to cook. And just that simple, you guys have made yourself some Korean beef bulgogi, and it is bomb. This is probably one of my favorite dishes. I got me some rice, and now it's time to plate it up and enjoy. Thank you guys for tuning in. Bye.